The worst thing about playing against the Sicilian defense is that this opening is probably one of the most theory-heavy openings in chess. There are so many variations, Dragon, Nidor, Scheveningen, that it's really hard to know how to counter each one of them. So today I'm going to give you guys a universal opening system that you can play against all Sicilians and reach some really good results with it. And this system I learned from a channel called GJ Chess, and credits must be given. But I've been using this and I've been getting some really good results with it, so I might just teach you guys how to play this. And the opening starts when you play e4 and your opponent plays c5, the starting position of the Sicilian defense. And here you're going to play this very surprise move, c4. And here you're going to take your opponent out of theory right at the start, because most opponents are expecting you to play an open Sicilian, and in this case you're going to play something very different from that. And here, more often than not, your opponent is going to play knight to c6 and you're going to play knight to c3, and you have a clear plan here. The biggest problem for black here is controlling this square of d4, and you're going to make it hard for your opponent to play to control this square, the square of d4. And here we're going to follow up with moves like playing g3, for example, and fianchettoing the bishop, and then playing this knight here to keep the control over this square. And we are also going to play the move d3, bishop here, and we're also going to play king here and castle. So this is the basic plan. We're going to fianchetto the bishop, develop this knight over here, play d3. This bishop is probably going to come to this square. The queen comes to here, this square. We're going to castle short. And sometimes we're even going to play this move to avoid, if this knight comes here, any infiltrations, so we can place this bishop here without being knocked away, okay, kicked away. So here, our main move will be against, for example, g6. This is the most common setup by black, because most people and amateur levels who play Sicilian defense, they are going to go for a dragon setup. This is for the most cases, guys. Trust me, most people play the dragon Sicilian because it's the simplest, the easiest of the Sicilian variations for black, and it's very straightforward. They're going to put the bishop here, play the knight here and castle. They're going to play moves like this and this. Probably this is going to be what black's going to be playing, so you can predict the moves by black here. You're gonna follow up by playing our plan g3, and after bishop to g7, bishop g2, we're going to fianchetto the bishops. After, let's say, g6, d6, we're going to play knight g to e2. We're going to develop the knight to this square, trying to control and exert some pressure here. We're trying to steal the control of this square from black. And more often than not, it's going to happen a lot that this pawn is going to be moved or taken, and black's going to lose control over this square. After, let's say, e6 here, we're going to castle. After knight is developed, most natural square for this knight is actually here. In this case here, they're playing knight g to e7. So we don't have to play, for example, this move to prevent any infiltrations, because the knight is not here, the knight is here. So we can go straight away for this move here and the bishop here to e3. So this is going to be the most natural development. We're going to play d3, and let's say after black castles, we're going to play bishop to e3, developing all our pieces. And after, let's say, knight to d4, we can play queen to d2. And here, let's say if the black pieces play queen to b6, attacking our pawn, we can just defend it with the rook. So here, guys, we have clear plans, and even if we go back some moves here, our plans are, of course, developing this bishop here, which is a great idea, but we have clear plans of advancing here on the king side if the opponent is castled here. So we can go for a plan like this, which includes playing f4 and g4 and attacking on the king side of the board. Or we can go for a queenside attack with rook to b1, a3, and b4 attacking on the queen side of the board. If black is the opportunity of us to play d4 and we have the chance of playing this move, we are going to go for that. So this is another plan that we should keep in mind. So here we have many plans that we can go for. We can attack on the king side, we can prepare here and attack on the queen side. And if black allows us, we can even start attacking in the center of the board. Okay, so here we're actually going to go some moves back and following a different game where instead of playing d3 here, white played rook to b1, going for this plan that I previously mentioned of a3, b4, attacking on the queen side. So here they're anticipating that, and instead of playing this first, they already go for this move, preparing this advancement. So black's gonna castle in this position, white is going to go for their plan a3, and after b6, b4, and here black cannot take this pawn actually. It's not a good idea for black to take this pawn because they lose control over this square and we can immediately take it. So whenever black they take this pawn, we can think about placing one of our pawns here on this in the center of the board. So if they take here, in case we just recapture, we can remember that this square becomes available for one of our pawns and they lose control over this square. So and this is gonna happen a lot, guys, trust me. But here black was very smart and they played bishop to b7, and after d3, conventional moves, knight to d4, bishop to e3, we can place this bishop here safely because this knight is not here. If this knight was here, they could go here and harass our bishop here. That's why we should play h3 first. In this case, it's not necessary because there's no knight here to move here and attack our bishop. Rook to b8 here was played by black, and then white strike with f4. Very strong move in this position here. And after f5, white played bishop to f2, and after queen to c8, white traded the knight here. And after this move, very strong move, knight to b5, and black is going to say, what the fork is going on here? Because we have many pawns being attacked. White cannot defend all of them, black cannot defend all of them. They play d5. They could just simply take the pawn here or do something like that. After they take, they could go ahead and take this pawn here. But instead, white just decided to place this knight in a very strong outpost here. Knight to d6. After bishop drops back, they don't want to trade here. Queen to b3. Now we are attacking lots of things here. This is under attack. This is under attack. It's very hard for black to defend everything here. So they played knight to c6. And after white takes with check and king goes to h8, we have this very strong check, knight to f7 check. And after the king comes back, we have lots of discovery attacks here. White chose to play knight to d8 with check. And after that, trading the knight, the bishops, they played bishop takes d4, taking the central pawn here from black. And now we have two passed pawns in the center. We are up 2 pawns in this position, and this is super winning for white. We have very easy play from here with 2 passed pawns in the center of the board. This game is probably won by white. So this is the system I usually play against the Sicilians now. I've been testing this and playing more and more and getting some really good results. It's easy to play. You have a very systematic opening where you play your first moves regardless of what your opponent plays. So we're just going to go for this. Developing the knight here to c3 is the typical move. Just a moment. The page was reloading for some reason, so I had to restart this. So yeah, after knight to c6, we just play knight to c3, and we have that typical plan that I said with g3, fianchettoing the bishop, developing the knight here, pushing this pawn. We can castle, bring this bishop to this square, queen comes here, and we have very easy plans of striking with f4, g4, and we can go also for rook b1, a3, b4, which is also a really good plan. If you liked this video and found this instructive, and now you have a very simple system to play against any Sicilian that your opponent throws at you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more. And as always, I see you guys in the next one.